We were out at a bar on Main Street in Ellicott City, and we went back to a friend's house after the bar closed, and he was very drunk, and he was angry that I wouldn't have sex with him at my friend's house. So he started hitting me while we were there, and she told us that we had to leave. We went back to get his truck in Ellicott City, and he was beating me up in the car, pulling my hair, and slamming me down against the seat. He told me he was going to fucking kill me, and he stopped at a red light, and I jumped out of the truck. I said, just let me go, and I jumped out of the truck, and I ran the other direction, and I hid in some bushes beside the street, so if he turned around, he wouldn't see me. And then I made my way to a phone. Because he had my phone, I called my mom, and I told her that it was over and that I was going to leave him. And that began the process of having to get him out of my life. If you're in a toxic relationship, reconnect with the people who you know truly love you so you can find yourself again and find the courage to get out of the situation.
You gonna learn today.
1, 2, 3,
let's go.
Are you ready?
This ain't the radio.
Are you ready?
Let's go. The Street Report Podcast. He raps for the DMV to the fullest. Hosted by Easy.
Mr. President.
It is great to talk to you.
Raw and uncut.
I'll let your boys, it's Jay-Z.
DJ Khaled.
What up, though? It's your boy, Big Snoop, D-O-double-G. Rocking out with my nephew, Easy Street.
Easy Street.
The Street Report Podcast. Hosted by Easy.
The following podcast may contain language not suitable for some audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Make sure you subscribe to the Street Report Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, or Google Play. Just search the Street Report Podcast. The Street Report Podcast. No boundaries. Oh yeah, I want to shout out to our good friends from Ben's Chili Bowl on U Street right here in Washington, D.C. Thanks one more time for allowing the Street Report Podcast to come through. So one of my posts last week was about toxic relationships. And I'm looking for the actual post that I put up, but man, I posted this and people were like, oh, hell, that's me. 9 signs that you are in a toxic relationship. Number 1, that this individual always brings up your past and judges you with it. Okay, you're
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so number 2, they are controlling and won't let you be yourself.
Yes.
Okay, number 3, they are selfish. Everything is always about them.
Good Lord, yes.
Okay, number 4, they don't care about your damn feelings.
They don't.
Mm-mm. Okay, so we're batting 1,000 so far?
It's absolutely.
You guys can identify with all this.
Absolutely.
Okay, number 5 is they want you to make them a priority, but they don't want to make you a priority in their life.
Hello.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yep.
We're on point still?
So far, so good.
Okay, number
or bad,
6.
whatever way you want to put it.
Number 6, it's difficult to communicate with them.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, number 7, they never apologize for their mistakes.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Number 8, they make you feel guilty when they are the ones that are wrong.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, and last.
That wasn't the last one?
No, there's one more.
Oh my God, okay.
One more is you never seem to get anything right with this person. Everything you do is wrong.
Everything. Yep. And they're the ones that's wrong, not me. But yeah.
You're never wrong. It's always them.
I mean, not saying that I'm never wrong, but the things that I bring to their attention that they did wrong, they'll flip it and make it be my fault that they did something wrong. Well, if you didn't do this, which is innocent,
right,
or an appropriate reaction,
okay,
then I couldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that. So therefore, I'm not wrong because what I did was because of what you did. So you're wrong.
That's hella confusing.
I know, but they're confusing people.
That is true.
They're confusing people, so nothing makes sense.
So wow, I feel the venom already.
I'm sorry, cause I'm fresh out. I sound like I just got out of jail or a prison sentence, and that's kind of what it felt like, 2020 hindsight. But I'm fresh out.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, calm down. Don't shank. Don't shank a nigga up in here. I ain't the one.
no, you're not the one. You've been a good guy to me.
I didn't do
You've
shit.
been a good guy. Yeah.
Okay, so according to Dr. Corey, who has a PhD in toxic relationships, he defines it as this. A toxic relationship is a relationship characterized by behaviors on the part of the toxic person that are emotionally and not infrequently physically damaging to their partner. Mm-hmm. While a healthy relationship contributes to their self-esteem and their emotional energy, a toxic relationship damages self-esteem and drains energy. Mm-hmm. A healthy relationship involves mutual caring, love, respect, and compassion. Mm-hmm. In a toxic relationship, it's the exact opposite. Yes. This person wants to control the hell out of you.
With a smile on their face.
Was he smiling?
Absolutely. Yes, he was.
So let's start at the beginning. Where did you meet this person?
Okay, so I met my person way back in high school. I was a freshman. He was a sophomore. And I guess I was at an impressionable age where, no guys were talking to me. I was very awkward. I went through an ugly duckling stage that lasted for a long time. And he was very, he was the only person who really kind of talked to me or even made me feel like I was attractive. So I guess I kind of grew an attachment to him at that point. I developed feelings for him. And although he developed feelings for me, they were like platonic in a sense that he never chose me as like his girlfriend. I was always his friend that he would tell that he loved me and, flirt with me and all this stuff.
As shit right there. That's
super
odd.
Fucking odd. Like I can curse, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because it's like, wait a minute, your words are saying one thing, your actions are completely different. So it was a lot of mixed signs, mixed signals, but I'm impressionable. I'm thinking that I can, dress the part, be super cute, and win him over. Nope, that's absolutely did not work. It was a waste of time. However, he was still stringing me along during this entire time, and he even said that, and this may be identifying, who knows, who cares, that he was going to save me for last. That he was going to go and get all his plan out of his system and sow all his wild oats, essentially, and I would be, the person he would end up with.
He said
last.
that to you?
Yeah, we were in high school at this point. So,
okay,
so yeah, I believed it.
How did that make you feel? Was that acceptable to you?
Yeah, I believed it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, at 13, 14, 15, I was just like, ooh, okay.
For a young mind, maybe that might be something that might be looked upon as something's positive.
Yeah, because then I took it as a compliment too, because it's like, okay, he's going to mess over all these other girls.
But not with your grown-up eyes.
No, my grown-up eyes is like, you was stupid, little girl.
Right.
And I would tell anybody now, if somebody says that to them, don't believe it, because if they want to be with you, they'll be with you. So, honestly, the toxic behavior started back then, because why are you stringing me along this way if you don't have intentions of choosing someone else over me for no apparent reason other than maybe they're more experienced physically? I don't know. But he was my first kiss, and we're not together at this time. He got another girlfriend.
So wait a minute, hold on. He was your first kiss. Were you a virgin when you met him? He was the first guy that you were with physically too? Is that?
No, I was a virgin for a very long time. And when I did lose my virginity, he and I weren't talking. We weren't even talking. So I lost it to somebody else.
Okay, so that's different person.
To me. Yeah, different
The
person.
reason why I asked that is because that's very important too.
He was number 2 though.
Okay. Okay, that's very important to your story too, because sometimes when I feel like, I remember the very first time that I had sex, and I remember the girl and everything that happened.
As you should.
And
it's a memorable
it wasn't a
time.
traumatic situation. It wasn't toxic. But let me tell you the damn story anyway, in the context of speaking about virginity. So we were playing this game, and shout out to the people here at Ben's Chili Bowl on U Street. That's where we are recording. I want to thank Mr. Ali and the entire family here at Ben's for having me once again. As you know, I also shoot my TV show here, The Street Report, as well. The podcast is a companion of that TV show. So I want to big them up. And no, we're not having half smokes yet. We're not eating chili cheese fries, and we don't have the red drinks yet, but that's on the way. So we were playing this game called Hide and Go Get It.
Ooh.
You ever heard of this game?
Heard of it, never played it.
Okay, all right. Hide and Go Get It is a game that you play in the community when the lights go down low, at outside, and then you get to go hide with this person. Hide, and you try to get it.
What is it? But just for the listening audience, it is it.
It. You trying to beat it up? Yes.
How old are you playing this game?
This is like
the age range?
This is 11 years old.
Wow.
11,
they know what it is.
11 or 12. Yeah. So you. Well, I thought I knew. So I hid with Candy. Her name was Candace, and all I remember was this. I never wanted to do that again.
You never want to do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think that I really was in.
Okay.
I think that I thought that I was in.
Yeah.
And I later found out that she was a virgin too.
Then you weren't anyway.
But I just remember that the first time I came, I never wanted to do it again. I was like, oh, I feel sick. Oh, damn, it felt terrible. Why is my stomach feeling?
Wow.
It was like that. But then again, I was like, damn, I got to do that shit again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So guy number 2 was the guy.
The toxic guy.
The toxic guy.
Yes.
Guy number 1 wasn't the toxic guy.
No.
Okay. So now, when did you start seeing the very first signs of him being a toxic individual?
Looking back or while I was in it?
While you were in it.
So while I was in it, probably because I ignored a lot of red flags. But I guess I noticed, but I still overlooked it, when he was trying to isolate me from everybody. My family and my friends.
Oh, really? When did you first notice that? Tell us the story of that.
So, he would come over a lot, and like everybody knows him. My entire family knows him because he's been around since I was 13. But at the same time, none of my family liked him because they could see him for how he really was. But because everybody loved me, they're like, you know what? As long as you're happy, that's fine. As long as he's treating you right, that's fine. Even though he's not who we think you should have. But he would come over a lot, and we would watch movies and just hang out and stuff like that. One, he would make me watch things that I did not want to watch, nor had an interest in watching, and he didn't want to watch anything I wanted to watch.
You mean like TV shows?
Yeah, mainly movies.
Okay.
It was always what he wanted to watch, and everything I wanted to watch was lame or stupid or corny, and he never wanted to do that. So that's like flag number 1, but it's like, okay, guys can be difficult, whatever.
You know what? Can we stop right there for a second?
Okay.
And you can chime in too, Willie, if you like. I do that.
You do what?
I do that.
You force movies on females?
Yeah.
What?
Well, I won't say that that's necessarily. If you're in a relationship and after a while you have your preferences of movies, but you eventually begin to know what the other person likes, and you know what to give and get, and you know where you can push to get the other person to watch that movie. Because what you're saying is this movie's not this way, or the controlling and the isolation part.
Mm-hmm.
Or as you're sitting here saying it, I'm sitting here replaying this whole thing through my mind, my story, and I'm going, yeah, that's true. And the movies, for the most part, we were kind of on the same track with the movies. Mm-hmm. But there were things where I was forced to, where she knew I had a strong dislike for it, and she would still do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
were there any
that's
particular
like
movies that she knew that that nigga ain't gonna like this movie? I want to watch. We're gonna watch this. What was that movie?
I think the first time was when I lived out of the country. So when we were living out of the country, in her country, at that time, they had an option for an English version of the movie or a Spanish version of the movie. And my Spanish at that time was very limited. Now I'm fluent.
Okay.
And so you're going to take me to go see a movie that I won't understand. I'll see the actors on the screen, and I'm thinking it's going to be dubbed over.
Oh.
Versus going where both of us spoke English, so we both can go see the English version of the movie.
Right. No subtitles.
No subtitles. We both understand it. But we chose. You talked me into the Spanish version. I like to say talked in, forced in, me into the Spanish version. That's what you said earlier. That form of controlling.
Right. So let's just stop right there, because one thing that we know that toxic people do. It's really the bottom line issue with these individuals is the fact they feel like they have to control everything.
Yes.
And they want to control because of something that's inside of them. Something it's tied to their, a lot of times it's tied to their self-esteem.
Yeah.
Is that what you experienced?
I believe so. So with the movies, and that seems something really small, but it was so big because it was such a big part of a relationship with him. He loved watching movies, and he would control what that was because a lot of the movies that he would watch and make me watch were old.
Right.
They triggered like good memories for him when he was younger. He and his siblings used to watch it. He and his cousins used to watch it.
Like what? Give us one title.
Like
Friday.
Hellraiser. No, like he loved horror movies. Hellraiser. What are some other crazy movies? I can't even think. But like he loves horror movies. He'll go to sleep to horror movies, and I'm not like that. I don't want that in my spirit when I go to sleep.
Right.
But he loves that. Even no matter how much I said that's not, he would still do it. Oh, you haven't seen this yet? Oh, what kind of child did you have? Like making me feel bad because I didn't watch that. So it's like, oh, I guess I should watch this because I'm not normal. He's normal. But it was fulfilling to him because it like brought good memories, whereas it made him feel good about himself because things change as you get older. People separate, whatever. So I don't know if it was a self-esteem thing because he always touted himself as having such high self-esteem. He was so confident, thoughts of grandeur type of thing.
He thought he was the shit.
Oh, yeah. And had no reason to think
but
that.
a lot of people like that. They have very low self-esteem.
Yeah.
But they in reality it's they put out that, not reality, they portray it's very high.
Right.
And I was going to ask you, when he watches a lot of dark movies, that may be a true reflection of
how he really is.
How they really are.
How his inside is.
I think a person can only take so much.
Willie, that's pretty deep, man.
That was deep.
You just shrunk that nigga, man. You shrunk him.
And that's
it wasn't on purpose to belittle another man, but it goes to, you look at what a person allows in their life and what their intake is, and it's also kind of what their output is. And then how they make you feel guilty, because one thing I was always told was I was the controlling one. And on my way out of my marriage, I started realizing which one of us really, and I started believing this. Maybe I am too controlling. Maybe I speak up too much. Maybe I should just, but then reality started looking back on the entire situation. I'm going, no, just like the isolation thing. I didn't even realize the isolation until we're going through the process of divorce. Now I look around my house that I had in Bowie one day, and I'm looking around my house, and I'm realizing there's no pictures of my family there.
It's hers.
Wow.
Her family pictures are all around. And I'm in some of those pictures, but none of her and my family or my family anywhere.
I'm glad you brought that up. First of all, when I first thought about doing a show on toxic relationships, because when I first decided to do this podcast on toxic relationships, it was all women that responded. And so I intentionally was like, you know what? My Twitter fingers
started going.
You know what? I need to find me a nigga.
I remember because his words were, do men get in toxic relationships? And I responded, hell yeah, we do. That was my response to it.
So how did you meet her?
So she worked as a au pair, and she worked up in Serena Park. I met her through a mutual friend.
Okay.
And the first time we actually met, I'm thinking, she's like, well, I'm down here by your neighborhood in Upper Marlboro. She's like, I'm down here. Do you want me to just swing by your house so we can meet face to face? And I was like, I don't know who you are if you're crazy and not coming to my house. I'll meet you at the McDonald's down the street. Sat down, had it, and everything.
So what did you met? You met her on the internet?
No, through a mutual friend of mine.
A mutual friend, and they were like, yo, my friend want to meet you, XYZ, and then...
Well, it was kind of something like she called to wish Merry Christmas, and I happened to be in the background, and then like hanging out with my boys, just yelling stuff. It's like yelling stuff in the background because he has her on speakerphone. And then we literally start talking through speakerphone while they're in the room, as if no one else was in the room. Okay. Just like having a conversation about general stuff, general knowledge stuff, like, in the Latin culture, you typically have two last names. And it was things like that. And that led from one thing to the other. The next thing you know, we were dating. Wow. Went from dating to being engaged. And from being engaged to living in her country. to being married for almost 10 years.
Wow. So how long was the engagement, if you don't mind me asking?
It took, I got engaged after 4 months, which the story of that led up to the engagement should have been my number one sign that this was going to be a no-no.
Why do you say that?
Because shortly after, she cheated. And my thought process behind it was to err as human, and you accept, if you're really going to be with this person, you're really feeling them, you accept them for who they are, and you accept their flaws that come with them, because none of us are perfect.
Right.
But there should always, now knowing, there should always be a line.
Absolutely.
Right. So that was cheating while you guys were engaged. That wasn't a red flag to you?
It was a red flag, but it was something I was willing to work through, because I am raised kind of in the old school sense of when you're in a relationship with someone, you don't just throw your hands up and just walk away as easy. If you really want that relationship, you're going to fight for that relationship.
Right.
But when there's only one of you fighting from day one or from that point, it's a losing battle. And it's almost like you're fighting by yourself.
Yeah.
And so things got better. Trust was displaced. She even asked me why. And I explained to her the same thing I explained to you guys, that when you're in a relationship, we as humans, we make mistakes. We make mistakes. I was like, but this isn't going to be something that's going to be constant. Well, it happened a couple of more times. Yeah. And I found out about those.
You mean the cheating? She cheated again?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this time we were married.
Okay.
So I found out once we got back here that it happened while we lived in Costa Rica, and it happened while we lived here, and actually one time in my bedroom in my house. Wow. And with that was where it came down to the actor dude actually had the nerve to send me a text message. And the way she got caught was she tried to change, because I owned a business and the cell phones were in my business's name. So she tried to change her telephone number, because I guess one of the dudes was threatening to tell me or whatever it was. And when she went to go change the name with Verizon, the telephone number with Verizon, they have to call me to get the authorization, because I'm the owner of the company. And I said, why are you changing your telephone number? And then eventually she had to break down and tell me exactly why. And so the dude sent another message. So I picked up the phone and I called him. I go, it takes two to tango. So for you to come and tell me doesn't win you any brownie points with me. You're just as guilty as she is.
Right.
And then from there, just kind of like all hell broke loose.
So tell me this. What was like one of the number one signs to you beyond the cheating that you were in a toxic relationship?
The isolation. Realizing it after the fact. And her family, and I have nothing against her family.
Okay, when you mean isolation, explain that. Give us an example.
It was, like I said, looking around and realizing this house was hers, not mine. Even though it was in both of our names. Pictures on the wall were of her and her family, and I'm in some of those pictures, but there were none of us and my family there. It was when my family came over, except a couple of family members, she would go back into the room. Like she didn't want to be bothered with them. She didn't really want them to come over. I'd have to hear about it prior to them getting there and after they left. But her family will fly into the country, and I'll be told on a day notice that, hey, they're going to fly in tomorrow. We got to make room for them.
And then be happy that they're there.
Yeah. And I would be. I mean, I had nothing against them.
Okay, you said that like you can identify with that.
So the isolation thing, let's go back to the movie thing, right? I'm on all these movies. But he would come over to my house and literally lock me in my room and watch movies. If anybody, I live at home, right, with my family, right? If anybody were to text me, my mother would come knock on the door, hey, can you come help me with this? Or have you seen my keys or something like that? He would have a fit. Why are they bothering you? Why are they bothering us? This is our time alone. Can't they respect that?
Wait. In somebody else's house.
Right.
And this ain't even his house.
That's not even his house. He would lock my door. And this is our time. Can't they understand that you're grown? Why don't they respect that? This is why you need to get your own place. So you can just hold me hostage? So the times that I would be like, no, my mom needs some help. So whatever needs some help, I'm going to get this for her and I'll be right back. He would leave. He would go outside, talk on the phone, whatever, until I was done. And then he would come back in, have a major attitude, like, oh, you're so childish. Why are you still so attached to your family? This is our time. blah blah blah, all types of stuff. I'm
So
like,
he was trying to separate you and isolate you in that sense.
That's for my family. Like in my own house, around my own family, lock my door. This is us. You can't talk to anybody else.
He come knock on the door. He don't have no key. He comes and knocks on the door.
At that point, he didn't have a key.
Right.
At that point, he didn't have a key. But yeah. So then even my friends, he would criticize all my friends. Why are you friends with him? Why are you friends with her? They're corny. They don't mean you any good. They're a waste of time. Like, he told me to invite my friends out of my own house one time. He was like, no, it's time for them to go. Like, yo, why are you telling me that it's time for my friends to go because you don't like them? And then get mad at me because they were here for too long or I was around them for too long.
When all this was happening, you didn't look at these things as red flags, as things that this guy's trying to control me.
No, because I felt like, well, people change. Maybe he just doesn't know. Maybe I can tell him, you're being unreasonable. What you're saying does not make any sense. And it'll be different. Like, how are you going to get upset with me for talking to my mom or my brother or whatever? You're really getting upset about that? And then he would justify it. Be my fault.
He'd blame it on you. He displaced it. He'd push it he project it onto you. Yeah,
it's my fault that I'm like interacting with them at a time when he's there.
Pretty much flipping it and playing the victim.
And always. Yeah. I find stuff in his phone of him and another girl. Why are you going through my phone? I'm done. You're done? What? Okay, I went through your phone. Sue me. But this is what I found in your phone. How is that my fault that this is in your phone? Mm-hmm. You gonna blame me? So, and then break up with me because you cheated. That's backwards. But yeah, so the isolation, that's where that all came into play. Like, I've literally lost friends over him because I was with him. I cut off friendships because of him that I can't even get back anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, did you try to reconcile with your friends? Well, some of the damage had already been done because even if I was having issues with a friend, it's two in particular. If I was already having issues with them, he kind of, aggravated it to the point where something that maybe I could tolerate, he made worse. And like the friendship that was there, it kind of dwindled down to nothing. So I lost two good friends because of my relationship with him. Did they ever try to confront you and say, hey, look, this guy's all the time running game? Oh my God. All the time. Because one knew him since before I did, because they went to middle school together. And he would always be like, hey, what is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you? You can do so much better than that. But I was like, no, give him a chance. He's okay. No, I love him. No, he's fine. But that, it wasn't okay. So, like, I see what, like, at this point, I see what everybody was saying. I see what my friends were saying. I definitely see what my family was saying. But it's, like, so much damage has been done that it's a healing process at this point. So how fresh is all this? September. Okay, and so how many years were you with this individual? In a relationship, on and off since 2012. However, during that time, the early part of that time, he was cheating left and right, and then just say, "Oh, well, you're not my girl, so it doesn't matter what I'm doing." But you treat me like your girl. You introduce me as your girl. Like that. What do you mean? It's okay for you to cheat because you're saying right now I'm not your girl? So yeah, the first few years, constant cheating with girls that you would look at like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, whoa, Lord, just complete opposite of me. Like, whoa, Lord. But so from 2012 to 2015, I guess he was like not committing. Then 2015 to like just recently, he committed. However, he was still cheating with some of the same people that he said he would not deal with anymore. So was it more like he surrendered, or was it a thing? So I got to the point where I gave him like an ultimatum. It was like, that's what I gave him an ultimatum. It's like, yo, you gonna stop? Because this is me trying to be like real, like stay my ground, put my foot down. Like either we're gonna be together because it's been a long time, or you just gonna leave me alone. So he surrendered. If you want to say that, white flag. Yeah, something like it was like a black flag because he's got a devilish soul. But but yeah, that's kind of what it came down to. And then it came to the point where he actually moved in with me and my family, and that was bad because I didn't even ask him to. He just kind of did. And then when I asked him, like, "What are you doing?" Well, don't you want me to be here? We're gonna be together anyway, right? So why wait? we could just move in together now. I'm like, but that's not what I want. Yes, it is.
Move in together in your family's house.
Yeah.
Not in a place between just you and him.
Right. Yeah, and then get upset with me when I have to do anything that has to do with my family. Like, that still lasted.
To me, when hearing it, it's like the complete kind of opposite of my situation, because I was happy to be around her family and she was happy to be around my family. And my situation was disguised. I believe it was disguised very well, even to the point when we announced the divorce, that my family was shocked, and when they found out what was going on, they were shocked even more. And playing the victim was something that to this day, dealing with her because we have a child together.
Oh, wow.
Like I was trying to explain to her, a lot of times people, they listen to reply. They don't listen to comprehend and come up with a solution. And as I'm trying to tell her this, and she's like, I'm listening to you. And I try to explain it to her again, like try to tell her, she's cutting me off before I finish my sentence. I was like, you're just listening to reply because you're replying before I finish. Sorry. Mm-hmm. And what I learned with toxic relationships, you have to be very careful because you can get drawn into it and it can turn your soul into a dark pit and put me in a big state of depression. And I'm finally on the way, I would say, out, being just completely tossed in my hands. I mean, the divorce was in the day after Christmas, 2016. Mm-hmm. All 2017, I've been dealing with it. All 2018, up until like July. And that was my breaking point. And literally just had to like throw my hands up and like realize how toxic it was for me and how toxic it was for my daughter. Not me necessarily not doing toxic things. I mean, I did my share as well. So this isn't just the one-sided story. Like you're saying, going through the phone. Yeah. I did that. I would go through the phone. Again, they belong to my company. I had the right to go through the phone. And when I saw it, and I was like, well, it's just like Jay-Z said. We play spades. When he's talking about him and Jay-Z, spades, all cards up. Yeah. I have nothing to hide from my phone. I had nothing to hide. And she says, well, the reason I started locking my phone is because you went through it, but then you locked your phone. And I said, well, I locked my phone because the company I had to go into a lot of businesses. And some of them were government sites where you couldn't carry your phone in. So I'm not leaving my cell phone unlocked with pictures and videos of
personal information
with a complete stranger. It's like if I would just leave my phone here on the phone, here on the table and just walk away, and I'm going to be gone for an hour or two inside of this building and have to come back and get it. I'm not just going to leave my phone like that. I said, but I told her what the code was, and there wasn't anything in my phone. But it was always that point of reverse and playing the victim.
Absolutely. Yep.
I think it's very interesting that both of you, as we're talking about toxic relationships, that there was an element of betrayal and cheating going on in both of your relationships.
Yeah, multiple times.
That's interesting to me.
And something I realized is it started turning me toxic to the point of where I was on a revenge and get back. That's when I started realizing where, something I this past July realized, it's like, no matter how much you try, and revenge, and it doesn't apply just to relationships, it's just life in general. Mm-hmm. How much you try to get revenge, that person's never going to hurt as much as you do because they're not as invested as you are. They're not invested in. So if
what were you going to do?
Well, no, I mean it was just getting back is certain things. It's like, like the nasty text she would send. And she would tell a lot of our mutual friends, who a lot of them I don't even speak to anymore, and they don't speak to me anymore. And it's because she went and ran and told them. And we had a mutual agreement. We'll just keep it between us.
All right.
But then she ran and she told them everything. And the way she explained it was, he had anger issues, so I cheated.
That's not an excuse.
So I told one of my mutual friends, who finally did come to me almost a year or so after, and said, well, I never heard your side of it. What happens? I said, you ever wonder why I don't talk about it? I said, because honestly, the relationship is between me and her and not anyone else.
Yep, right. That happened.
And so I said, but since this is out there, let me correct it. Maybe she cheated and I got angry, and she says I have anger issues.
Right. Your anger was your anger was a reaction to
the cheating, not I was just always walking around angry.
Right.
Go ahead.
No. Wait. What did you just say? Because what you just said struck something, and I'm getting old.
The revenge.
Yeah. So I really didn't have any revenge plans.
You didn't think about it at all?
No. No, I really didn't. Like, I'm not going to say that I was always 100% like amazing, but I was probably 95 because I was really invested in him. I wanted him for so long that why would I, want anybody else or mess this up? Because I wanted him for so long. Now I got him. I'm a little disappointed because he's not all I thought he was going to be, but I love him. He loves me. But like how you said that she would go around and tell mutual friends what happened, but her side, and then paint you as this crazy, angry person. He would do the same thing with his family, with his friends that don't know me. His family doesn't really know me. They look at me as being kind of like stuck up.
He would say negative things about you?
Absolutely, yeah, because they
like what?
They have their own idea of me based off of what he said. So I remember one time his mother and sister and all of them, they'll be like, oh, well, he's acting different now because he's back with her. So obviously they think that I changed him, and like maybe I'm the one that's keeping him isolated from them, or that I'm the bad guy, or I'm the immature one. He always painted me as this immature, selfish, bratty, privileged little girl, but I'm not. I have a supportive family who has my back, but I'm nowhere near spoiled. I work for everything I have. I'm not a brat.
It seems like he was using you as his escape to get away from his world at home.
Yeah, he was. Because that's why he ended up moving with me, to get away from his.
And then it sounded like he was jealous of the life that you just happened to fall. None of us, we're born, we just happen to end up where we end up at.
And he would say that.
Jealous of
he would say, your family's way more supportive than mine. Because, he had a lot of struggles and hard times. And, his car get repossessed. I helped him get it back. Just for the girl that he's cheating on me with to call, text, email me. Why are you emailing him? Why I saw you just call. Why are you calling him? I'm like, what? I just paid almost $800 to get his car back from the repo man. And you're asking me why I'm calling him? You know what? I'm done. So you ever have conversations with the people that they cheating on you with? Have you ever had that?
I had one. It didn't go. Let me put it like this. It ended up in a peace order.
Well, wait a minute.
That's a whole other topic or a whole other show.
No, really. Go ahead. Let's share. Let's share. Okay. Go ahead, Burgundy. What?
No, I had a couple of conversations with her, honestly.
Well, really, what happened?
This was just one of them.
She texted you? She called you?
She emailed me. I don't know how she got my email address. I don't even remember because it was so long ago, but she would tell me, oh, you're stupid, oh, kill yourself, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, she tried to bully you?
Yeah, I'm just like, yo.
You said, bitch, pull up.
If I'm stupid, bitch, what do you think you are? What
do you think they're going to do? If they're doing this to you, what do you think they're going to do? What do you think they're going to do to...
We're both in the same boat.
Yeah.
He's saying something to you. He's saying the same thing he's saying to me. So why do you think that I'm even more dumb than you are? I popped up at his house one day. She was there. It was just bad. So the conversations that we had, it was almost like it was a meeting of the mind / bitch, what are you doing? Go away. It was that type of conversation. I was like, yo, if you want him, you can have him. He ain't shit, but if you want him, you can have him. Just leave me alone. I found out that he told a lot of my personal business, secrets that I would tell him. He went and told
He shared that
other people.
With the side chick?
With her, with his family.
And she brought it back up to you?
Yeah.
That's how you would live my life.
I was like, wait, what? I said, first of all, that is incorrect. That's absolutely incorrect. Because it was something about my first. I'm like, that's absolutely incorrect. And why do you even know that? I never told you that. So obviously he told you that. Why is he going around telling my business? So when I confronted him about that, why are you telling people my business? Oh, so what? Nobody cares. I care. That's why I asked you not to tell anybody. That's something that's, personal. I don't want people to know unless I tell them.
So when that happened, you stayed?
I stayed like a dumbass. Easy. Oh, easy. Oh, easy. Easy.
I'm about to hit you with the Florida Evans. Damn. I
still stayed. I was stupid. I was really stupid.
Stay?
Because I loved him so much. And I kind of felt validated by even having a man. That sounds stupid, but
it's that expression that love is blind.
That's really hard for me to believe
blind.
in. I'll tell you why. Because you're a beautiful girl.
You would think
you're
that
smart.
makes a difference. It doesn't.
You're degreed up. You're going places.
Man, I'm flossing out here, man. I'm hip, and I think that I'm a great catch. Apparently, men don't think that. I don't know if they're intimidated, but I get that all the time. Oh, you're a beautiful girl. You can get anybody you want. No, I can't. It's so difficult. Dating, dating is overrated because I'm just tired. Especially at this point, I'm tired. I'm over it. Niggas ain't shit. across the board. I haven't had a good experience. I'm just over it. But then you get the guys who are kind of nervous to approach you. So they'll go with somebody else who maybe seems more approachable. That doesn't intimidate them as much. But it's difficult. You would think, but no.
So how many times did you go back? And we're about to get it. I want to hear about your phone calls and your texts too. How many times did you go back?
I ran out of fingers. I'm on my toes. Trying to count that.
Wow.
If I'm even on my toes, because it lasted for a very long time, and I would say there were maybe 3 major breakups where we didn't talk for months. But when we did talk again, it was tears. He was sorry. He'll never do it again.
Right.
I was wrong. I just want to be with you. You're the only person. Like, tears.
So you came back for the love, and that was it. It was the love.
It was always love. It wasn't anything like
It wasn't the sex at all.
I mean, that was good, but but like I don't base my relationships
I went there
off
with
of
it.
that.
Hey,
I
went
base
there
it
with
off
it.
of that.
I went
You
there.
did. You so controversial.
No, I'm just saying because it plays a role.
It does. But
it does. The sex plays a role.
Yeah, but
It
then it
plays
was like
a
he wanted
very-
it too much, and then he would get mad at me because I didn't want as much as he did, and it's like, what's wrong with you? And then he wanted to do things I didn't want to do. And it's like, well, what's wrong with you? So-and-so would do it. Why won't you? Don't compare me to these basic bitches. Like, don't do that. But he will constantly compare me to people. And don't make me feel bad about myself because of what you've experienced with other people. If you want that, go with them. But don't belittle me and my standards and what I want. And then I started questioning myself. Well, maybe I am like a cornball or cheesy or not freaky enough. I've had people tell me I'm the opposite of that. So
do you think that it was quite possibly that he used the sex to control you too?
No, I don't even think that, because it would get to the point where he was like, well, I'm not even gonna touch you anymore because you don't want it as much as I do. It was more like, nobody's gonna love you as much as I do. Nobody's gonna accept you the way that I do.
And that's part of the control thing. That's what people that want to control you say, so they can continue to isolate you, to bring you down.
And I believed
to
it.
lower your self-esteem, to make you feel like that nobody else don't want you, so they can continue to manipulate and have what they
and I
have their way
believed
with
it.
you.
Like, nobody will tolerate this. Who else would tolerate you? Your dysfunctional family, and nobody's gonna do that. And I started believing it, and it's like, that's not. I mean, I haven't. It's not true.
That's not true at all.
Okay, bro. So tell me this: what did you find? And you had conversations with some of the guys.
And then one of the guy's girlfriend. The last one. I'll talk about the last one. Yeah. So the guy's girlfriend found me on social media. I didn't even know who she was, and she said, "Are you such and such's husband?" And I said, "Yeah." And the funny thing was, I had just caught her and him at a hotel down the road from my house. Using the phone again. Something said we had an argument. She goes, well, I'm just going to leave, and I'm going to she's supposed to go to a hotel in Laurel to calm down or whatever, which isn't my thing, but I knew something was up. I was like, I'm going to let this one play out, because I'm at this point, I'm getting to my wit's end. And so I let it play out, and I pull up the GPS on my phone. Again, they're owned by my company, so I can pull the GPS up as much. You would think she would learn from the last couple of times. Pull the GPS up, and she's at the street of the hotel. And Dum Dum parks right in front of the hotel. Not her, him. I knew what his car was. And so he parked right in front of the hotel. So I called, nothing. No answer. She goes, no, I'm not at the hotel. I was like, well, why is his car parked here? And my other car I have, and my name is parked here. Good thing they didn't have Uber, because what I would have done was would have caught an Uber down there, took the car, and when she came out in the morning, she would have had no way to get home.
That would have been.
So, did you confront her that night?
Yeah. So I had to come out the hotel room. He stayed up in the hotel room, and he hid. He's texting me. But he wouldn't come down. I said, come downstairs. Mm-hmm. Probably a good idea. He didn't come downstairs.
What did he say? When he replied to your text, what did he say?
Oh, we're up here. We're watching football. Dude, it's 2:00 in the morning on a Saturday.
I mean, it could be highlights.
It could have been. It could have been an NFL Network.
I was born that night. Not last night. And so he would never come down. So when she finally came down, she's in pajamas. But she has no underwear and no bra on underneath the pajamas. I'm like, you're in another hotel room at 2:00 in the morning with another man. This is how I sleep. And then again, in the hotel room with another man.
Not looking good.
And you don't sleep like that when you're at home. Ooh. So I go back to the house and said, don't come back. When I say don't come back, I meant don't come back anymore.
And was that it, or did you ever take her back after that?
No, well, legally I can't, because we both own the house. I can't just put her out like that. It's a whole legal process.
But you guys separated from that point, or was there?
Well, we stayed in the same house together.
Okay.
So yeah, at that point we pretty much separated, and he actually had the nerve. So she came back, and I tried to put her out the house. He actually had the nerve to follow her home to make sure she was safe.
What?
Which was the dumbest thing that he could have done, because then the police got called.
What?
Yeah, because he's texting.
This nigga.
Yeah, he actually, Well, he was bold until firearms came into play, and I said, when you come to my property, and I'll do everything I need to, you're not welcome here.
Okay.
And I clearly explained that to him and said, you'll be treated as an intruder if you come onto my property. And so the police came, and they pat me down and asked me to put my firearms away, which I complied with. And at this point, she actually tried to, before the police got there, tried to get me to hit her. We're in the house, and we're arguing. And she literally slaps me. I turn and punch a wall. Punch it so hard my hand goes through the other side of the wall.
Wow.
Luckily, I didn't hit a stud.
Oh, yeah, that was
Yeah. And it's not something to be proud of, but it was like, and she later admitted, she says, I was trying to get you to hit me before the police got there.
wow.
So that's when you realize how toxic it is. And then this guy actually has the nerve to, so his girlfriend texted me right before she came back and said, are you such and such? I said, yeah. I said, who are you? And she goes, I'm this guy's girlfriend. And I go, oh, really? I said, well, let me just tell you where I just caught them at.
Wow.
And explained everything to her, and it led to another thing where she, became involved and made threats. And at this time,
threats to your wife, to you, to him?
To both of us. And I told her that.
Oh, she made threats to you?
To all of us. And I said, I had nothing to do with this.
I'm going to kill everybody.
Yeah. And so it came down to it. And at this time, my ex-wife at the time, she was pregnant with my daughter. And she's in the hotel room with another guy. So I'm really losing it now.
So your child was in a hotel room?
No, my child, she was pregnant with my daughter. She was probably about 4 or 5 months pregnant with my daughter.
Wait, so was she showing?
At 4 or 5 months, she wasn't showing as much as most women do, but she was showing.
Did he know? Oh, they fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
That's terrible.
Because when he sent me the text that said, and I told his girlfriend, and he finally came back, if you're sitting here telling lies, this, and this, and if you keep my name out your mouth, we going to have problems. I said, obviously you know where I live at. Roll up. We can handle this like men.
Right.
And of course he doesn't show up. But it was, looking back on it, glad it's all done, and it's that first telltale sign is something I would never let. Again, that was when I first met her. I was 18, 19. I'm 32 now, so that a lot of wisdom comes with age.
Yeah.
I would definitely pay attention to that first telltale sign, so it would never get that far again. That's not something. How that all played out is not something to be. I would say not to be proud of, but the toxicity of it was. And it wasn't even that wasn't the end of it. Even after the divorce, he had the nerve to actually try to text me and flaunt it along with her. She actually called me and asked me for advice about their relationship.
That's crazy. Nigga, no.
And would call me.
No.
And would call me. So the same thing she was doing with me.
No.
She to him, like she would, if we had a problem, she would run and tell him and talk to him about it. And of course, she thinking him being a friend. And I was like, no, that's not how guys' minds typically operate in the most part. You see an opportunity with a person that you're way closer to, you're probably going to take your chance to get out that friend zone. And so...
that's wild, man. That is wild.
Yeah, so she actually called me up and asked me. So what I did was I told her, I don't want to hear about it. We're done. I'm moving on. She called again like a week later. Well, this, and this, and this, and this is happening, and what advice would you give? So I called him up, and my words to him were, can you tell our girl...
Wow.
to stop calling me about your relationship problems. And he swore they weren't in a relationship. And I said, so you're sleeping at the house, and this is what you're saying in your sleep talk, and this and this. And he has a government clearance. There's certain things he shouldn't be divulging that he divulged. And I repeated it back to him. And then he got all mad. She calls me up when he's mad. And my words were, I can give 2 fucks about him being mad.
Right, I know that's right. Absolutely.
I said he got the nerve to be mad at you for what you were doing with. He didn't think that you
People
would do
don't
that.
change.
That's
that
crazy.
you wouldn't do that to him.
People don't change.
I'm glad you said that. That's one of the main things that in my research about toxic relationships is people don't change.
Nope.
They don't until they want to change. There's nothing that you could have done to change him. There's nothing that you could have done to change her. The people have to want to change on their own. And one of the things that I did learn is either you have to threaten to leave or you have to leave. Mm-hmm. And that quite possibly can change the behavior.
It didn't work for me.
A lot of times it doesn't work, but sometimes it can. Now, before we go, Burgundy, we have his goodbye, I'm up out of this joint story. Yours.
Oh, gosh. And it's still so new, so I might. Good Lord.
But we have tissues right here in a Ben's chili bowl tissue right there. Hold on.
But it got to the point, like, we had broken up earlier this year because he was, like, special occasions that he should have been focused on me in, like, my family. He was nowhere to be found. Last year was a pivotal birthday for me. He got me a flat iron. It's like, I didn't even ask for this. Like, I'm expecting, you know me better than this, and you get me a flat iron. And then get upset with me because I don't appreciate the gift that you got me. We got into our first physical fight. So that was a red flag. Like, to the point where he body slammed me. He pulled out a plug in my hair and back. Like, it's still not back. It got really bad. And he was holding things against me that I couldn't help. You know, he's making me feel bad about things that bring me joy and that I've been doing since before him. I can't focus on school, on work. You know, I need to study. Can you turn the light off? I'm ready to go to sleep. What? I'm studying. You can't study downstairs? What? You know, I told him, if you see that person one more time, you can get out of my fucking house. Next day he leaves. I told you if you threaten me again, I was leaving. Oh, so you rather leave than just stop doing what I'm asking you not to do. You can't stop seeing this person that bad that you just rather leave? So he left at that point. We were broken up for like a month maybe. Then he comes back. But apparently he had gotten very friendly with somebody that worked at the hotel he was staying in. To the point where she's still around to this day. But still, bringing up who I've been with, which wasn't that many people. I lost my virginity very late in life. Like, my body counts on one hand. But you're going to get upset about a prior relationship that I had and throw it up in my face every time we get into an argument. But I can name 10 women you've been with since we've been together.
Yeah.
And it's my problem.
Projection.
It's my fault.
Yeah, he's projecting.
But you can bring up this one instance that had nothing to do with you, and it's a problem. But it got to the point where I found out something that he did last year, right after he had moved in with me and my family, that it didn't have nothing to do with a girl. It didn't have anything to do with cheating. But it affected my family so badly to the point where I can't see a certain person anymore. My mother can't see a certain person anymore because of him being deceitful and lying and going and talking to somebody that he doesn't even know, telling them, twisting up stories, and Girl in Burgundy and Girl in Burgundy's mom are doing this. So you shouldn't let your child be around them anymore. That person doesn't come back to Girl in Burgundy and Girl in Burgundy's mom, even though she's known us since I was 12. She doesn't believe us. She believes him, a person that she doesn't like. She's never liked. So that, I find that out in September. I confront him about it. He lies about it. He gets mad at me about it. Says that I committed a felony by going through his phone. Bitch, you gonna find out today. Yeah, watch, you ain't gonna graduate, all this type of stuff. I'm like, what? Because you're wrong? Because I found out something that you did that you have seen affect me and my family. Like, we in tears over this situation that he caused. Refuses to admit it. Refuses to have anything to do with it. But you're not making any sense. So when I bring up what doesn't make sense, he gets even madder. But that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. It's like, fine, if you want to cheat on me, that's my stupidity. I can deal with that. like a dumbass. I'll deal with that. But when it affects my family, when you can smile in my face and my family's face, that lets me know how vindictive and toxic and just a devilish person that you are. It's like, this is joy to you on top of cheating on me. On top of making me feel bad about who I am and what I do, and why do you wear your hair like that? It should be short. Why do you always wear makeup? Why do you always wear this? I got a million pictures. They all look the same. Like you just do something different. Like making me feel bad about myself, constantly gaslighting me. It just got to the point where I never yelled at somebody as hard as I did that day. I'd never been that angry. I was like about to pass out. That's how upset I was about the situation that he had caused, and I said, I want you gone when I get home. I get home. Oh, I'm sorry. This was after another physical fight that we had just gotten into, maybe a week before, because I had to go do a recording for a show for some people that he didn't like for no reason. But, yeah, so after that day, I was like, you know what? For somebody to smile in my face, live under my roof, be so toxic to everybody around me, I can't deal with this anymore. And it was difficult because it's like, I don't want this to be true. Like, I want to struggle with this person some more because I love him. And I've invested so much time in this person, and I'm hoping that this person really loves me the way that I think that they do and the way they claim that they do, even though their actions don't show it. But I got to realize that he doesn't. And no matter how hard that it hurts to just say, get the fuck out of my life, I have to let it happen. So I did, and it was hard. I was depressed. I just isolated myself. I was in my room. Don't talk to me. It was bad. The last part of this year, well, the whole year been bad. Man in Black, the whole year been bad. But thank you. But this last part's just been terrible because like everybody that I had talked to on a daily basis, like for years, everybody kind of just disappeared at the same time. So I had no support outside of my family, and I didn't want to tell my mom all this stuff. I didn't want to tell my family all this stuff because it's almost like, we told you that he was going to hurt you worse than anybody ever could. So it's like, how do you talk to people about that? But even after that, of course, I still went back, and I ain't gonna lie. It's like, all right, well, let's try to work this out because I want to be with you. Even after the bullshit that you did, I still want to be with you. What is wrong with me? I still want to be with this person. Because I'm conditioned that nobody's going to love me the way he loves me. Or,
he made you believe that.
Yeah, or make me feel like I'm wanted. Like he made me feel like I'm wanted. No matter how much harmful stuff he subjected me to. But came back, and even then it's like, oh, well, you're not hospitable. Why don't you cook for me when I come over? Or why don't you do this? Or why don't you do that? Like he wants me to wait on him hand and foot. I'm studying for finals right now. You should be waiting on me hand and foot. I ain't tell you to come in. You know, so let me know that things aren't going to change. He's still going to be the way he's going to be. He's still cheating. He's still talking to females that he claimed he's not talking to anymore. So I'm like, I can't win. And it's difficult. Even to this day, I'm still struggling with it. I still think about him. I still care about him. I still, would even consider if he were to really make an absolute change, and I can see it and I can feel it and everybody else can see it and feel it. But I got to save myself. And him being in my life isn't productive to the conducive. There we go. That's a good word.
Right.
Conducive to the person that I am on my way to being.
What do you think the chances are of him ever changing?
Slim to fucking none. Because I've known him since he was 15. This was in 2001, so y'all can do the math. And that's more than half my life. So he's not, because if he was, he would have by now.
So if you know that, then what are you going to do about it?
I really have to just look at the situation for what it is, not what I want it to be. I have to believe what people tell me and not believe what I think that they meant. And accept it. And regardless of how I feel about them and I want it to be true, I literally just have to accept it. And that's difficult, which is why I'm not interested in any type of relationships anytime soon, because I'm still fragile. That if somebody says, oh, you're as beautiful as a flower on a sunny afternoon, oh, for real? Like, I believe, like, I can't, I'm just, it's just not gonna work.
I was gonna say that first step that you take on your way out, and it's something that we were talking about earlier, and in my writing was that self-love, and you have to do that. That's the first step. You have to realize you have to love yourself first and get back to you. So before you even step forward into that next relationship or entertain that next thing, you know who you are again, and you know what you like, and you know what your dislikes are going to be, and then you know what your breaking points are going to be. And you take time for you, and that's not just going to happen, because I'm sure you have a lot of questions in your head. Are you going to love again? Are you someone going to love you the way that you love them again? That trust factor is always going to be there, because it's in the back of my mind all the time. Like there have been times where, one of the part-time job I work is in the bar industry, and I'm approached multiple times by women, and I won't even entertain it. It's because that's always in the back of the mind. Right. So that's something that you got to keep in mind, and also that physical thing. And you got to realize that's not love. You realize that's a certain level of control, and that's toxic at a level that's probably at its utmost toxicity. Yeah. It's when someone's putting their hands on you. Because the old saying is, you may think that it's love, but how long is it going to take until they love you to death? Yeah. So that's something that you gotta think about, and like I said, love yourself is the first step. Get back to you. Be happy. Those people that were around you or that have left, and it's something that I'm learning as well. Is new people are going to come around. When you find your new self and your new energy, you're going to attract people that are going to be on that same path that you're on, and they're gonna be real friends to you, and you're gonna move in the same direction kind of with them. And everyone's not gonna stay. People are here for a season. We all heard that before. That people are here for a season. So you take what you learned from that past relationship, and you try to take it, but you don't carry it as baggage. Right. Yeah. You just take it as a learned lesson, and I'm only able to say that now because I've been exactly where you're sitting, and I sat there for almost 2 years. Yeah. Yeah. And then when you start seeing that clarity and you start getting your peace back, it's a whole different level. And there's going to be days where you're going to feel like you're getting your peace back, and there's going to be days where it's going to come and you're going to be slammed down.
So, one thing, and thank you for saying that. I appreciate you sharing, your way out. Before we wrap up, there's one thing that I want to share with you both that I've learned, just in life about death. There is no life without death. There is no death without life. Mm-hmm. And you have both experienced deaths, maybe not a physical death, but death of a relationship. Yeah. And just like any other death, you have to go through these stages. The very first stage is denial. I can't believe this shit's happened to me. This nigga's crazy. Yeah. Then you go into anger. I'm gonna kill somebody. Then
I felt I was suicidal at one point.
I understand.
Yeah, I feel like killing myself.
I understand. Yeah. And we go through these stages, but the key is we need to get to a place where we get to acceptance of these things. Mm-hmm. And this process is going to be different for every individual. I may heal up quicker than you. You may heal up quicker than her, vice versa. But the healing needs to be the main goal. Yeah. And I believe that healing begins when you're by yourself. Because when you get into another relationship, then you're caught up with another person. You're trying to build with someone else instead of you figuring out, okay, what the hell happened here? Mm-hmm. How can what did I do wrong? What did they do wrong? Okay, it wasn't me, it was them. Okay, I could have did this. These are the kind of things I need to be looking out for. You know what? I'm gonna back up, see it for what it is, and move forward with this lesson. Right. I have this. It's kind of like a sermon. It's T.D. Jakes, and it is a sermon of him talking about the 12 things that he always wanted to tell single people. And he goes through all these things, that single people should do before they try to connect with someone else. And one of the main things that was very key in this sermon with T.D. Jakes, and I have a copy of it, I'll share it with you. Oh, please do. He said that a lot of times it's very important for us to go on a journey of self-awareness about who we are, what we like, what we don't like, and write that shit down on a piece of paper and know what it is, and know what we'll accept and know what we won't accept, and write that shit down on a piece of paper and see it.
Yeah.
Very rarely do we know. This is a exercise of self-awareness, of you knowing who you are, what your likes are, what your dislikes are about yourself, about other people, about life. And then after you find out more about you and the healing happens within your heart and your life, then you can, begin to enjoy life for what it is.
Yeah.
Not connect with another person yet. I didn't say that. I said find out who you are, what you like, what you dislike, and then go on an exploration of you learning more about you. And that right there, the act of that it will produce healing for you. Yeah. And that the goal is for us to produce wholeness, for us to be whole individuals. See, we have been taught since we were young that, you go to school, you get an education, you get a job, you find somebody, you date that person, you court that person, you marry that person, and then you become whole. No. We got that all fucked up. No. The way it should go is we should do all these things and be whole when we connect with someone else. And then we also have to make sure that we are connecting ourselves with the whole person too. Yeah. Because if you're whole and then they're not whole, then it's going to end up jacked up.
Right.
So these are all things that we don't know in our early ages. We only learn these things later on. And then there's people that are my age, 40, 50, 30, that still don't understand what I just said. So that's my advice to you. You probably already know these things. You probably heard this before, but really self-exploration, finding out more about who you are, what it is you like, what you dislike, getting to know yourself better, and then going on about your life, learning from the mistakes that you made, and just being more aware of these red flags. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I be looking.
Red flags.
I'll be like, what? Oh, you said what? You know what? It was nice. It was good. Right. And it's for me it's different because of who I am. People just be throwing their panties at me. Hey, just take. Go ahead. You can have it. You be like, hey,
it's hard out here.
Wait a minute. Hold on. If it's that easy, I don't want it. If it's that easy.
Yep. That's true.
I do not want it. If
I can only imagine how many when you do the events and everything around the city.
You have to be careful, bro.
And that's what I said, being in the industry, being inside of a bar. And
when I was young in the business, I was out there. I was doing my thing. I'm doing my thing. But at this point in life, I was like, nah, man. It's, you're nice. Hey, it's nice to meet you. For real. Take your time.
Yeah.
Understand you have experienced trauma.
Yeah.
This is trauma.
Yeah.
And you don't heal from trauma overnight. It's going to take time. But the healing is up to you. And it's really about the work that you put in to heal yourself. He's going to help you.
Yeah.
But the work is going to need to be done by you on this planet, okay?
Absolutely.
And I was going to say, one thing I'd add is something that I found is therapy is something we don't often... It's shunned in our neighborhood. It's great. It's shunned in our community.
You know what?
You don't even want to know the way that I had to go and get the help that I needed, and I didn't have insurance at the time. But
you might want to call somebody else. But you know what? But there are different types of good therapy for you too. Going to somebody that's a therapist that will listen to you. I've been to therapy before. I ain't ashamed. I went to grief counseling. 6 people died that I knew all in a small period of time. Family members and friends. And I went into grief counseling. I have no, qualms about telling that whole story, and I've been on record talking about that. But if you feel like that you need to go to counseling, by all means, go.
Yeah.
It's great. Counseling is great. But you can also be counseled by friends, too.
Yeah.
People that got sense.
Yeah.
You know, especially people that got like good spiritual sense, because what we're really talking about is a spiritual issue.
It is.
It is.
All that.
All that. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate you being part of the Street Report. God bless you. And I'll make sure that you get that sermon, okay?
Thank you.
All right, good job. The Street Report is a podcast that primarily focuses on African American culture and a whole lot more. Make sure you subscribe to the Street Report wherever you listen to podcasts, whether it be on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher. Please hit that button and subscribe. I'll be dropping a brand new podcast every week. You might want to turn on your notifications. Also follow @EasyStreet on Twitter and Instagram. The official website for the Street Report is EasyStreetShow.com. Thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of the Street Report Podcast. I want to remind you, the Street Report Podcast is being brought to you by SIA Multimedia, specializing in producing podcasts just like this. We create social media strategies for companies, and we also produce video ads for social media for all you business owners out there. Our website is SIAMultimedia.com. That's CYA multimedia.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at SIA Multimedia. Making sure all eyes are on you. Keep that third eye open. One love. Peace. Thanks for rolling with the brother.